Right, this video is going to be on the anatomical position and osteokinematic motions, which are all based off of the anatomical position. So, anatomical position is right here. So all the osteokinematic motions we're going to talk about are based off of this position, no matter what's happening. So, I'm going to have her turn 90 degrees to the right. We're going to start at the skull and work our way down all the way through the spine and the hand for this video. So at the skull, a lot of times we just talk about the cervical portion, but the skull itself at the suboccipital joint actually has flexion and extension between the skull and C1. So can you show us capital flexion? Awesome. There's a very little motion there. And capital extension. Awesome. That's oftentimes a very overlooked osteokinematic motion, so make sure you remember that one. Now we're going to look at the temporomandibular joint, or the TMJ joint. So that's that jaw, that mandible. So she's going to show protrusion and then retraction of the jaw, just bringing it back in, and then depression, opening up, and elevation, closing. Awesome. So next we're going to look at the cervical spine. So we're going to have flexion of the entire cervical spine there, and then extension. Excellent. And then rotation, looking at the camera there. Excellent. And go ahead and turn 90 degrees towards the camera and show them lateral flexion of the cervical spine. All right. So all of those same motions at the cervical spine occur throughout the rest of the spine. So can you show rotation of just the whole thoracolumbar spine? Great. And then lateral side bending or lateral flexion. Awesome. And then can you turn 90 degrees to the right and show flexion and extension of the thoracolumbar spine? Jeez. All right. So now we're going to go to the scapula. So go ahead and face towards the wall. I don't know if the camera can get in here and try to look at this shoulder blade here. So the shoulder blade can elevate. So if you can shrug those shoulders, you'll see that shoulder blade go up. And then depression, shoulder blades going down. Then we have protraction. Shoulder blades are going to spread apart. So the shoulder blade's going to move around to the front. It's protraction. Retraction, squeezing those shoulder blades back. And then we're going to have rotations. So with rotation, go ahead and abduct your arm and watch this shoulder blade move out to the side. So when this inferior border moves up and out, that is upward rotation. So go ahead and bring that back down. And as that inferior angle comes back down, that's downward rotation. And when we talk about the shoulder and the shoulder girdle, we'll talk about the importance of understanding how that rotation affects movement. So again, let's just do this one more time. Following this inferior angle, you can palpate that. Then go ahead and abduct. Moves away from my fingers. It's all the way over there. Upward rotation. And as that inferior angle comes back down, that's downward rotation. So we can go ahead and stay in this position. Abduction of the shoulder. Abduction. Go ahead and abduct. And then coming back down, adduction of the shoulder. All right, go ahead and 90 degrees to your left. Let's show shoulder flexion and extension. So shoulder flexion going up and shoulder extension going back. Awesome. Now let's turn back to the anatomical position to the camera. And palms out, there we go. Now, this is a lot of times hard to see, internal and external rotation of the shoulder. Can you show them internal rotation of the shoulder? So watching that humerus internally rotates. Okay, so go ahead and externally rotate. Now, sometimes that's hard to see. So if we come back to anatomical, flex your elbow to 90 degrees on both sides. This is going to show you with the hands where the humerus is going. So externally rotate now and internally rotate. Awesome. So as your osteokinematic motions for the rotation of the shoulder. Now can you bring your hands straight out in front of you like this and then take them apart for horizontal abduction and then bringing them back together, horizontal adduction. Excellent. All right, so now we're going to move down to the elbow. If you want to face that way again. So elbow flexion and elbow extension. Piece of cake. All right, let's turn back to the camera. Let's show, in the anatomical position, don't answer out loud. Let's think about this. What position does the forearm start in? Supination. Hopefully you got that. So we're starting in supination. So can you show them pronation? Now, the key to this is you can think about a little trick someone might try to do is internally rotate the shoulder. So I'm going to hold that humerus. Go ahead and supinate again and pronate again. There's no movement of the humerus. It's just the radius on the ulna here. So that's pure pronation and supination. Then we move down to the wrists, and we have radial deviation where the thumbs go away from the body, ulnar deviation where the pinkies go in. There's your deviations. And then if you turn 90 degrees again, you're going to see wrist flexion and wrist extension. And then at the fingers, the MCP joints. So those knuckles that you're cracking all the time. Flexion from here. So go ahead and flex when you're making a grip and extend back out. Awesome. Turn back to the camera. Now, normally the fingers would be together. So start together and then abduct your fingers, or the MCP joints are abducting. And then adduct them. Awesome. And then you could do that to all the other joints, the PIP, the DIP joints. The thumb's going to do all the same things as well. The thumb does have one that's a little unique. It's technically called opposition when the thumb goes to all the fingers. And that's opposition of the thumb, which is a little unique. We'll talk more about that when we get to the hand itself. And that is the upper half of the body.